Love English Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Love English Podcast. We are here to help you learn English for your real life in a simple and natural way. I'm your host, Leo.
And I'm Emma. It's so wonderful to be here with you all. This is a safe space for you to learn, so we will always speak slowly and explain everything. Leo, I have a friend who has a big job interview tomorrow, and she is so nervous.
Job interviews are always nerve-wracking. What is she nervous about?
She's most nervous about the question, "So, tell me about yourself." She doesn't know how to describe her own personality in English.
That is a classic, difficult question. And it's a perfect way to introduce our topic for today. We are going to do a deep dive into how to describe your own personality. This is a step beyond describing other people. It's about self-introduction.
This is so useful. First, let's do a quick review. We learned before that what does he look like is about appearance, but the question for personality is, what is he like? So for ourselves, the question is, what are you like?
Exactly. So how do we answer that? I think a good answer is always a balanced answer. Balanced means you talk about your good qualities, your strengths, but you are also aware of your weaknesses or the areas you need to improve.
Let's start with the positive side. How to talk about our strengths. We need a good list of simple, positive personality adjectives.
Let's brainstorm some. A great one for the workplace is organized. An organized person plans things well. Their desk is clean, their calendar is up to date, they are not messy.
I like that one. Another great professional quality is being reliable. A reliable person is someone you can trust and depend on. If a reliable person says they will finish a report by Friday, they will finish it by Friday.
That's a wonderful quality. What about a word for someone who is good at making new things or having new ideas?
That would be creative. An artist is creative, a writer is creative, a problem solver can also be creative. For example, I think I'm a pretty creative person. I love thinking of new ways to do things.
And what about someone who is very relaxed and doesn't get angry easily?
That is an easygoing person, or you could say they're calm or patient. Patient means you can wait for a long time without getting frustrated. For example, I work as a teacher, so I have to be very patient.
And the opposite of a quiet, calm person, someone who loves being with other people?
That is an outgoing or sociable person. A sociable person loves to socialize, to talk to people at parties and make new friends.
This is a great list of strengths. We have organized, reliable, creative, easygoing, patient, and sociable. Now for the really difficult part. How do we talk about our weaknesses? It feels very strange to say bad things about yourself.
It does, but being able to talk about your weaknesses shows that you are self-aware. Self-aware means you understand yourself well. The key is to be honest, but also polite and constructive.
So what are some phrases we can use to soften the language?
You should never say, "I am lazy." Instead, you can use softer phrases like, "I can be a bit," for example, "I can be a bit disorganized sometimes," or "I'm trying to work on being more organized." This shows you know it's a problem and you want to improve.
I love that. "I'm trying to work on" is a fantastic phrase. So instead of saying I am impatient, what could I say?
You could say, "Sometimes I can be a little impatient, especially when I'm excited about a project. I'm learning to slow down and enjoy the process more." See? You state the weakness, and then you say how you are trying to get better.
That is the perfect formula. What about the word shy? Is that a bad thing to say?
Shy is a good example of a neutral word. You can say, "I'm a little shy at first when I meet new people, but I warm up quickly once I get to know them." To warm up means to become more comfortable and friendly. This is a very honest and relatable answer.
Another common one people say in interviews is I'm a perfectionist. This is a classic example of a strength that can also be a weakness. A perfectionist is someone who wants everything to be perfect.
Right. The good side is that your work is very high quality. The bad side is that you might spend too much time on one small detail. This brings us to another important point, the context. The way you describe your personality to a friend is very different from how you describe it in an interview.
Yes. With a friend, you can be more casual and honest about your weaknesses. In a funny way. You could say, you know me, I'm so disorganized. My keys are always lost.
But in an interview, you need to be more professional. You should focus on your strengths that are relevant to the job. For example, I am a very reliable and organized person, and I work well in a team.
And if they ask you about your biggest weakness in an interview?
You should use our formula. Be honest about a real but not critical weakness, and always explain what you are doing to improve it.
For example, in the past, I was a little shy about public speaking, but I've been taking a course and practicing, and I feel much more confident now.
That is the perfect answer. Okay, let's do a role play. Let's imagine we are friends who are getting to know each other better. Ask me about my personality.
You know, Emma, we've been friends for a little while, but I'm curious. If you had to describe your personality in a few words, what would you say? What are you like?
Oh, that's a deep question. Let me think. Well, I think I'm a pretty creative person. I love coming up with new ideas for things, like for this podcast.
I definitely agree with that. You are very creative. What else?
I think I'm also quite patient. I don't get stressed very easily. On the other hand, I know I can be a little too quiet in big groups of new people. I'm a bit of an introvert. An introvert is a person who gets their energy from being alone.
That's interesting. I'm more of an extrovert. An extrovert gets their energy from being with people. But I can also be a little impatient sometimes. That's something I'm working on.
Well, I think we have a good balance. Your energy and my calm. That's why we make a good team.
That was a great, honest conversation. It felt like a real friendship.
It did. So let's do our final summary. Remember, the question is, what are you like?
When you talk about your strengths, use positive adjectives like organized, reliable, creative, or easygoing.
When you talk about your weaknesses, be honest but polite. Use soft phrases like, I can be a bit, and always talk about how you are working on improving.
And remember to think about the context. A conversation with a friend is different from a job interview.
We hope this lesson helps you feel more confident to share who you are with the world.
Thank you all for joining us on the Love English podcast. We will talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Love English Podcast. Remember, every minute you spend learning English is an investment in your future. Keep learning and see you in the next episode.